Transit. What a zombies map. This zombies map is a very, very interesting zombies map. Yes, I know I said that for a lot of Black Ops 1 maps, I know I said that for some World at War maps, but this map is probably the most interesting map I've talked about so far. Because this is the first time I think zombies has took a L so far, when we were talking about this, right? So, World at War, there wasn't any L's, because World at War, you kind of didn't really know the boundaries of, like, you know, how things would be, right? Black Ops 1, I wouldn't really say there was any L's, because each map added on top of each other to add new features, add, like, you know, new cool shit. Transit, on the other hand, took a huge fucking L. And I think the main reason why it took an L is hardware limitations. If this was a map that came out throughout the Xbox One PS4 era, or even now modern console era, so Series X, PlayStation 5, this map would probably be fucking incredible, but because it came out on the Xbox 360, it was unfortunately fucked over by hardware limitations. Anyway, let's actually get to the map. So, Transit is a map which is split up into different maps as well. There's like a bunch of different locations. There's obviously, you know, bus depot where you spawn. There's a diner, farm, power plant, town, and then there's also the cabin. There's Not Done Toted. There's the field, the pylon. Oh, that's what it's called, the pylon. But Transit was a map that was split into different tiny maps in one giant map. And the way you get from one area to the other is you could walk, but you have a certain special enemy that nobody likes, the denizens, chase after you. Or you could take the bus, and the bus would come every now and then. You would obviously start with bus people with the bus there, but eventually at a certain point, for example, power plant, if you don't have the turbine and you turn on power, the bus is leaving you. So yeah. So the bus was a really cool feature, and obviously you had to wait a few rounds for the bus to come back, or like a few minutes. I don't know how long it was. I think it's like 5-10 minutes, depending on where you were. Like, for example, if the bus is at bus depot and you are at diner, it won't take long for it to come back. But if you're at power plant and a bus just went to town, it's going to take a while for it to come back. Now, Transit, because it was a new game, obviously, or because it was a part of a new game, introduced some new things to zombies, obviously. Like, say, a new area to get to one point to the map to the other, you know, a new transport, which is bus. Obviously, you don't have to pay for it this time around. It was a free thing which will always go around the map with Ted, of course, Ted the fucking goat, by the way. But it also introduced two new perks, kinda. So you have Tombstone, which is actually a new perk. That is a new perk. And then you have Double Tap 2.0. We'll talk about Double Tap 2.0 in a minute, but Tombstone. Tombstone is basically, if you're playing co-op and you go down, you can basically press X. I don't know what it is for PlayStation or PC. I think it's probably like F for PC, and then like, I don't know, like square for PlayStation, to not allow yourself to be fed to by the zombies. And basically, where you die, there'd be this tombstone, and if you go over to it, you get your weapons, your perks, and I think your points back. Actually, no, I think you have your points already, but you get your weapons, perks, and like equipment back. Obviously, this is ideal because on Town, for example, you could actually glitch the system to make it so you have 6 perks, or you have all the perks, which is really cool. I did that multiple times. It's not even a glitch. I think it's an intended feature, you know. But Tombstone as a perk is probably the worst perk we've seen so far. Don't worry, it gets topped in DLC 1. But Tombstone is a very terrible perk. Now, a very good perk, because it got an upgrade, was Double Tap 2.0. Now, Double Tap, first, when it was Double Tap 1.0, obviously all it did was increase the rate of fire. And while that's good, it would mean you'd burn through your weapons ammo really fucking fast. However, Double Tap 2.0 actually gave you double damage, basically. So instead of 1 bullet firing out, it's 2 bullets. And obviously, the more bullets you fire out, the more damage you're going to do, of course, there. And this was really good. It made Double Tap a real game changer, because like for somebody like myself, I would never go for Double Tap on Black Ops 1. Unless I play like the gun game mod or something, I get Double Tap 1.0. But because of this new feature for Double Tap 2.0, Black Ops 2 onwards, I'm always picking up Double Tap, because Double Tap just helps you with high rounds and shit. Or it helps you with, like, you know, like round 20 plus, for example. Now, while we saw this feature first, technically on 5, this became an actual new feature in Transit, buildables. And basically, what buildables are is you got to pick up a few parts across the map, come to this workbench, hold the interact button for a certain amount of time, and then you get the item. Or after you put all the pieces in, you get the item. For most buildables, it's free. I believe the turbine. Not the turbine, I believe the jet gun, which is the wonder weapon of the map, we'll talk about that more in a minute. I think it's like 5 pieces. But yeah, so normally for myself, I would probably only build the turbine, because I didn't really find the zombie shield to be that useful when the turbine was probably the most useful buildable on the map. Obviously the pack-a-punch machine, was a buildable itself actually. Which this is the only time it will be a buildable. Afterwards it goes back to being normal, but it was interesting. Pack-a-punch in this this map is hell actually. So we'll talk about it actually. In order to pack-a-punch, you have to pit your turbine by a certain door in power plant, and you gotta hope no zombie attacks that door. While you go all the way to town, you throw a grenade by the bank where there's this door, like this safe door. Then you gotta throw another grenade behind the safe, and then I think you gotta put another turbine down. I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think so actually. And then the door will open, and if it's open, that means pack-a-punch is open. Now this is a fucking nightmare to do in solo, of course, for the obvious reason that the turbine could just get attacked by zombies, and you basically can't do anything about it. So you're kind of just screwed over. Co-op, this is a lot more manageable / better, but the thing is, with pack-a-punch, is if you leave the room, it closes again, and you have to redo the progress. You have to redo the process, not progress, process. Now, we should talk about the special zombies of this map, shall we? I think we should. So, obviously you have the normal zombies, of course. You have technically napalm zombies, according to the Code Wiki, but that's basically just fire zombies. They're like lit up from the lava, because the map is mostly lava, because it makes sense, the Earth's being blown up. Because this does take place after moon, But then you have the denizens, and the denizens are basically, they only exist to keep you out of the fog, because the fog is a really open area, and it would be the perfect training location. But of course, the denizens are there to make sure that that just doesn't happen. And then, so you constantly have to deal with them. The Gather Knuckles are like the best course of action for that. Now, the next boss, you activate this boss by turning on power. This is the Avogadro. Now, the only way you can actually kill the Avogadro is by knifing him. EMPs and knives, I believe, actually. And EMPs are, don't get me started on EMPs. EMPs, you throw them in that fucking survival grief, you've basically trolled like the whole lobby, especially if it's Jug. But yeah, the Avogadro's annoying. Unfortunately, the Avogadro is needed for the Easter egg, which, let's talk about the Easter egg, shall we? So there's 2 Easter eggs. So this is the first out of, I think, 4 times we'll see 2 Easter eggs, technically, this, in Black Ops 2. If we're going to count mobs 2 different endings, there's technically 2 different Easter eggs. But there's a Richthofen and a Maxis Easter egg. Now, I'll tell you this right now, and I'll probably mention this in the buried video as well. The Maxis ending is the canon one, which I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, it's probably the best scenario out of the 2, to be honest, even though Maxis kind of betrayed the whole Victus crew. But yeah, basically there's 2 different Easter eggs. There's the Richthofen side, which only the player who's playing as Sulager can hear Richthofen, because Sulager ate a bit of zombie meat and, ended up being able to hear Richthofen. But there's also the Maxis side, which the whole party can hear. Of which Maxis will guide the party. And basically it's I think the first step is literally like turning power on and off. I think for like Maxis' side, which is just goofy. But yeah, we should talk about the new crew. This will be the final thing I mentioned before we get to a bit of trivia. So, the new crew, the Victus crew, consists of Misty, Rustman, Sulager, and Martin. And while this crew is probably not as good as the likes of the likes of Ultimus and Primus, or even some of the celebrity casts, I personally think this this crew kind of grew on me in a way. Especially their appearance in Black Ops 4. I think that their Black Ops 4 appearance was pretty good. But yeah, at first I think a lot of people didn't really like the Victus crew that much, myself included, but of course they've kind of grown on me. And of course this would be the main crew we'd see between this map, or between Transit, Diarise and Buried. Now let's get to some trivia, shall we? So, going back to the Denizens, and of course thanks to COD Wiki for providing this trivia. So there's a way you could basically teleport from one location to the map to the other, or like a random location, and it revolves the denizens. So if you have the power on, this is a lot easier to do. If you don't, you just use a turbine under a lamppost. And basically, if you bring a denizen under a green lit lamppost, it will dig itself in, and that's the teleport location, which is pretty cool. A little bit of a fun fact as well. There's two, if I'm correct, I believe there was going to be three Easter egg songs, but there only ended up being one, which was Carry On by Kevin Sherwood. I'm going to try it out by Skrillex was one of the options. A Carry On by Avenged Sevenfold, and then Karen? I'll in the edit note, I'll type it or something, I don't know. But yeah, by Kevin Sherwood, and of course the third option was The Chosen One. But yeah, that's about it. Transit for me is a very interesting map, and I mean I've said this for a lot of maps, but I hate Transit. I don't think Transit's a good map at all. However, some of the features they did add, like some of the new game modes, introduction to a new crew, the implementation of Double Tap 2.0, and just some other stuff as well, probably made it a really good map for implementation of new things, minus the jet gun, which the jet gun is a terrible one weapon. I don't know why it has to be a buildable when it could have literally just been a bot's weapon and it would still do the same job. In fact, that's what they should have done after it was built. You should have been able to get it in the bots, but Treyarch didn't learn in that scenario. And they did learn later on with like the slicker fire and stuff, but still. Anyway, I'll see you Muppets in the next one for Nuketown. Peace.